Hi, welcome to a new recipe. My name is Clara. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm gonna create a new recipe. I'm gonna call it Kunafa Pina Colada. It's kunafa, which is a very traditional Middle Eastern dessert, combined with coconut and pineapple. So let's get started. In today's recipe, we're gonna start with the filling and then we're gonna work the dough. So to start with the filling, we have 1 cup of coconut milk, and then we have 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. And you want to mix them really well together. We're gonna add a little bit less than 1/4 cup of condensed milk. Once everything mixed well together, we're gonna heat on the stove for 5-10 minutes. Don't let boil, just heat. So it only took like 5 minutes to get this consistency. It's a little bit thicker, but not too thick, and this is what we want. So pineapples are a very important ingredient in this recipe. I mean, it's a pina colada after all. So now I have a can of pineapples. I'm gonna cut these in very little pieces. In a smaller saucepan, I'm gonna put 1/2 cup of butter and 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and I'm gonna heat them over the stove for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes. So once the brown sugar and the butter started boiling, I added the pineapple to the mixture and let it boil for another 10 minutes, kind of like caramelized pineapple. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add the pineapple mixture into the coconut milk. This is the filling that we're gonna use today with our kunafa. So as you can see, it has a very nice brown color. It has pineapples, it has coconuts. So I'm really excited about this recipe. So now that we're done with this, we're gonna let it cool down and we're gonna work on the dough. I have here about 8 ounces of kunafa. Before you bake it, there are 2 things to know. 1, you're gonna find kunafa all over your kitchen. No matter how much you try to contain it in a mixer or a bowl, trust me, you're gonna find it in so many weird places. 2, keep the kunafa frozen. It shreds better in a mixer. I know that our parents and our grandparents used to cut the kunafa with scissors, but I find it so much easier to just put it in a mixer. So now that we have our kunafa in a bowl, as you can see, they're shredded into very little pieces, which is really what we want. We're gonna add 1/2 cup of butter. And I melted my butter before I started baking today because it's just easier to work with the kunafa. And I'm just gonna mix this. Now that I've buttered my baking sheet, I'm gonna start adding the bottom layer of kunafa. And you gotta remember, when you're baking anything kunafa filled, your bottom layer is really gonna be your top because you're gonna flip it once it's out of the oven. So you wanna make sure your bottom layer is a little bit thicker and it's also very well aligned. So I'm done with my bottom layer, and as you can see, I created some sort of an edge with the dough because now I'm gonna fill it with the coconut pineapple pudding, and I wanna make sure that I create an edge to contain that. Our filling is completely cooled down and it looks so good, and it also smells so good in here. I mean, I wish everybody's here in my kitchen smelling this right now or eating it later. So I'm gonna add this to the dough. Now that we've added our filling, I'm just gonna sprinkle the rest of the dough that I haven't used on top of this. So I already preheated my oven to 450, and I'm gonna put this in the oven for at least 35 minutes. While the kunafa is baking in the oven, we're gonna make the syrup. I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of sugar. I'm gonna add 1/4 cup of water and let it boil on the stove for at least 10 minutes. I ended up baking this kunafa for only 20 minutes. So I think it depends on the size of the baking sheet, and it also depends on how strong your oven is. I let my kunafa cool for 10 minutes, and now I'm gonna flip it into my serving dish. Before I flip the kunafa, I'm just gonna gently release the edges with a spatula. All right, here we go. Here's my syrup, and I actually added a little bit more water because it was so dense, and we just want to keep it moist. We don't need it to be sweeter because it's already sweet. This is the end of our recipe for today. This was Kunafa Pina Colada. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you share it with everyone you love. And for everyone celebrating Easter this weekend, Happy Easter!